Hello, and welcome to Modern World History Syllabus B. And today we'll be looking at the League of Nations, its origins, aims, successes, failures, and eventual dissolution. Regarding its origins, the League of Nations was the brainchild of Woodrow Wilson and came into effect on 10th January of 1919 with the implementation of the Treaty of Versailles, as it was also a key point in the treaty and mentioned in Wilson's 14 points as well. The creation of the League was very much an international endeavor, with politicians and diplomats from all over the world, such as Sweden and Greece, taking part in drafting out its details. Among the most notable of them were Lord Cecil of Britain, who did excessive work on how the organization may be set up alongside Jan Smuts of South Africa and Leon Bourgeois of France. All of the details and structuring of the League of Nations was decided upon by representatives of all the victorious nations or the Entente of the First World War, and with its headquarters in Geneva, the League of Nations was fully functional by the fall of 1919 and had amassed 48 participating countries by 1928 as well. The League of Nations was set up with the aims of creating an international or a global parliament consisting of representatives from all the countries around the world, and by extension, ensuring that peace is maintained through collective security and international cooperation is encouraged regarding uplifting social and economic standards worldwide. The League would essentially ensure peace by having all member states pledge to take a non aggressive stance on the global stage and to stand united in case of any aggressor arising. The League aimed to stop wars, see that disarmament after the First World War goes through, enforce the Treaty of Versailles on Germany vigilantly, and improve the way of life as a whole as well. The structure of the League of Nations had been divided into five main organs, which were as follows: the General Assembly, the Council, the Permanent Court of International Justice, the Secretariat, and the Commissions and Committees. Let's start with the General Assembly. This met annually and contained representatives from each member state. Each representative and hence each country had one vote, irrespective of the nation's wealth, power, or size. This allowed smallest countries a chance to raise their concerns on an equal footing with the much bigger ones. The function of the General Assembly was to decide on general policy and global foreign policy as well. For example, it could, in theory, propose to have the peace treaties revised. However, any and every decision needed to be completely unanimous. It also handled the finances of the League of Nations. The Council, on the other hand, was a much smaller body, comprising of four permanent members, which were the UK, France, Italy, and Japan, as well as four temporary ones elected by the Assembly for 3 years at a time, at least initially. The Council met much more frequently, about 3 times a year, with each other, and it was their task to deal with specific political disputes. Again, for any decision to take place, the votes were to be completely unanimous. By 1926, the Council had expanded and allowed temporary members to be increased up to 9 members at a time. The Permanent Court of International Justice was based at The Hague in Holland and consisted of 15 judges of different nationalities. It dealt with legal disputes between states as opposed to political ones. It started to function in 1922, and by 1939 it had dealt successfully with 66 cases, winning respect for the idea that there was a place for a generally accepted code of legal practice in international politics. Next, we have the Secretariat and the Commissions and Committees. The Secretariat looked after all the paperwork, prepared agendas, and wrote out resolutions and reports so that the decisions of the League could be carried out. This acted as a sort of international civil service whose members came from over 30 different countries. Like the Court of Justice, the Secretariat won respect for the high quality of its organization and administration. Regarding the commissions and committees, a number of these were formed to deal with specific problems, some of which had arisen during the First World War. The main commissions were those which handled the mandates, military affairs, minority groups, and disarmament. There were committees for international labor, health, economic and financial organization, child welfare, drug problems, and women's rights as well. The function of the League was meant to be peacekeeping. It was intended that it would operate in the following way. All disputes threatening war would be submitted to the League, and any member which resorted to war, thus breaking the covenant, would face collective action by the rest. The Council would recommend what effective military, naval, or air force the members should contribute to the armed forces, which was also gone through over and decided via the commissions and committees. Moreover, there were specific committees such as the Health Committee, which tried to improve the health of the people of the world, the Slavery Committee, which tried to free all slaves, the Refugee Committee, which tried to get refugees back home into their countries. We'll be continuing with the successes and failures and the eventual dissolution of the League in the next installment of the series.